Good morning, fellow hobbyists. So, we have a Hot Wheels 1991 Mazda MX5 Miata, the very first generation Miata. This is a really historic car, and I happen to own a 1993 Miata, first gen as well, so this has some emotional value to me. Unfortunately, the Kyosho made this model, and those things are super expensive online, so I'm not going to shell out the money for that, even though I've actually owned this car in real life. Hopefully someone will actually do like a resin model of the first generation Miata someday, because over 400,000 of them were made. So I would think that models for this first generation Miata are quite popular. And I found out through the internet that in 2018 Mazda actually did a factory restoration program for the very first generation cars. They're called a Yunos Roadster over there in Japan. And 600 people applied for that program. So people love these cars. And the reason why is because back in the 70s and 80s, the British, and the Italians were putting out their roadsters, but I guess they just weren't reliable. The MGB, the Triumph Spitfire, or the Fiat Spider, and they just fell apart. They rusted away and broke down. So Mazda saw an opportunity and came out with an inexpensive sports car, actually influenced by this, called the Lotus Elan. And Tom Matano is credited with designing this first generation Miata. And they were offered for sale for around $14,000 was the base model, but that was stripped out, no power windows, and I don't even think it had air conditioning. But I remember there was a lot of craze for this car. I remember dealerships were gouging people for like $25,000 for these Miatas when they first came out, because people wanted a light, fun sports car to drive around. They weren't really fast. The first generation had a 1.6 liter engine in it, making around 115 horsepower. But it only weighed 960 kilos, so it felt like a sports car. It just didn't actually go like a sports car because it took too long to actually accelerate. So that's the story behind the first generation Miata, and now they're up to their fourth generation. So I looked at a couple of these Miatas at a shop, and there was a red one which had a bunch of racing text on it, but it had no graphics on the front and back, so I felt that this yellow one was more realistic. Mine originally was red, and then I repainted it orange, so I doubt I'm ever going to find an orange first generation Miata. It was never offered by Mazda. Okay, but anyways, let's get into the casting here. It seems alright, good enough for me to do a 3D printed wheel project. So yeah, unfortunately though, on the side here, there's, some sort of dirtiness, and the paint isn't actually smooth. It's almost like it's scratched. But what I liked about this Hot Wheels here is it has the printing here for the turn signals there. And then also, the actual license plate has some printing. It says no thanks or something. No THX4? No, I'm sorry, it says Hot MX5, kind of. The 5 is so messed up, so anyways, okay, well this side the paint's a lot nicer, although with yellow cars you can see that the paint is not covering the corners very well. You can see the darkness of the casting. Yeah, these wheels are okay. They're not remotely close to the original car's wheels, but it looks like a modified car, because the original car also didn't have a roll cage either. So this is like a customized car already offered by Hot Wheels. So unfortunately there's no paint on the side, because I guess that's the Hot Wheels way with main lines. It's either front and back or just the sides. And anyways, I'd rather have front and back, because I want to have painted taillights like this, which do look okay. And then again, this license plate's a lot better. Hot MX5, the Hot Wheels logo, and that would be Mazda, I think, or maybe this is the Mazda, I forget, and Miata. So then yeah, the stock tailpipe was here, so that's alright. It is riveted together, so maybe I'll try to actually not drill out the bottom this time. Maybe I'll just clip off the wheels and then pull the axles out. Maybe try to preserve this. So yeah, it is interesting that they did a modified Miata here with this roll excuse me, with this roll cage. Really weird. Okay, but yeah, so this would be for the US market, being a left-hand drive. Okay, some details, yeah, kind of like a Kyosho, actually, just black details. So yeah, realistically though, I'm not sure if it has the real car doesn't have these bulges here. Not this much. You know, if you look at the picture of a real first-gen Miata here, it doesn't have these crazy fender flares. So, but then again, this might be a modified car where people rolled the fenders out and then put the giant wheels on. So it's just not really accurate to a stock vehicle. Not that this picture is. I brought up these two pictures because for my 3D wheels, I'm wondering if I want to put Watanabe wheels on, which are, you know, kind of copying mini lights, but they look good on the Miata. Or maybe I go old school, like stamped steel, because I think the original base Miata also has stamped steel wheels, you know, because it was a stripped out base version. So I'm not sure exactly. I guess we'll have to come back and you'll see what happens. So as tradition in my videos for these, I will hold it like this. In fact, I'll hold it in better light so you can see the wheels. And give me a moment and I will come back with some new prints. Okay, I'm back, guys, and I printed up some Watanabe wheels for this thing, and I also added some brakes here, some disc brakes, silver disc brakes, and red calipers. Unfortunately, these are pretty far in. I didn't glue them close enough to the edge. This one's a little bit better. So I decided to go with the Watanabes because I found a cool picture of a car with them, and you'll see it in a second. I also went in with a couple Sharpies, you know, a red Sharpie back here and an orange Sharpie there, and then a silver pen here to bring out those extra lights. But other than that, oh yeah, alright, I hit a little silver in the shifter. So those are all the extra mods I made. So I think all in all, it turned out alright. Unfortunately for Hot Wheels, you know, they don't really make things to scale. One scale at least. This is around 1/58 scale when I pulled out my digital calipers. And for comparison, here's I have a Kyosho Mazda Miata, the Gen 4 edition. And it's a great model. It doesn't have disc brakes, but it does have mirrored inserts, so that's pretty nice. But you can clearly see just a massive scale difference. In the photo you'll see that's a pretty cool British racing green Miata with the Watanabe wheels. So that's why I decided to go with those. So I'm pretty happy. Turned out alright. Hopefully one day I can find a first generation Kyosho at a decent price, and I'll definitely get that. But until that price comes up, I guess I'm going to live with this Hot Wheels. Alright guys, I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you around tomorrow. Bye.